Welcome to the Fairhaven Homes match of the round. Today we're in the gorgeous Inverloch sunshine for a massive game. It's the rematch of last season's elimination final where a surging Warragul shocked Inverloch, who were building to make a deep run in the 2022 West Gippsland Football Netball Competition final series. The Dusties won that one by 14 points, and they've improved every year they've been in the West Gippsland competition and made a fairy tale run off the back of that elimination final last year into the prelim, which is quite possibly one of the greatest games the league's ever seen. Just losing by a kick after the siren to Phillip Island, they almost got themselves into a grand final. As for Inverloch, they're on the heels of a 4-0 undefeated run to start 2023, and under a new coaching team headed by Tom Hams, will be out for revenge against a team that sent them home a year ago. I'm with Bailey. Mate, how do we pick a winner in this one?
Oh, well, geez, Inverloch have been so impressive to start off 2023, haven't they? They've undefeated, and as for Warragul, they've been a bit more shaky, but they're certainly a team that can just come out of nowhere and pull off those really impressive upsets, as we saw throughout their finals campaign last year. As you mentioned before, Aidan, oh so close to making that grand final, but I'm expecting a good contest today. A little bit windy, but the sun is just beautiful today. It's not very often when you commentate you have to pull out the sunnies, but today exact conditions for that sort of eyewear.
The Nest has turned it on today, so just a bit of form for everyone. So Inverloch's obviously 4-0. They opened the season with a 27-point win over Narnagoon, and they then went over to Phillip Island and had a big 6-goal win there. And the next two games after that against possibly, well, you could say lesser opposition, beating Kilcunda-Bass by 146 and Garfield by 89. On the Warragul side, they opened the competition this year with 2 losses to Phillip Island away from home by 24 points and to Turin-Dalmore and Anzac Round by just 2 goals, and then had a big win over Bunyip and Curramborough last week, depleted Curramborough you could say as well. So today we're set up for a massive clash. It was Inverloch getting the win last time they matched up here at Inverloch. By about 30 points in that one, and Inverloch actually won both home and away contests last season. So a few ins and outs. Still Clark was named, but it was a late out for Inverloch. So young Jordan Batako will make his debut in the number 33. Great to see him out there. And then for Warragul, Mason McGarity will miss. That's a big miss for them, Bailey. Yeah,
Mason McGarity, I think he finished around about 3rd place in the goal kicking last year. So with that out, you're losing a lot of your scoring power and your effectiveness inside forward 50. So they're going to have to make a couple adjustments today in order to get that really sorted. Just travelling back to Warragul's losses, Phillip Islands and Turin-Dalmore. Phillip Islands, it was a convincing loss for the Dusties, but it was fairly wet conditions that day, very windy, so, you know, I wouldn't be too worried about a loss like that. And Turin-Dalmore, who, you know, haven't been as good as they were last year to start off, but to only go down by 2 goals to that quality side, that's something definitely not to be concerned of.
Yeah, and they like to play contested footy, and they go direct. So that's something that really shocked Inverloch in the eliminator last year. So Inverloch will definitely try and do the opposite. They'll try and open the game up with their run and carry. But we're ready to go. It'll be big Marcus Toussaint for Inverloch in the middle, as usual. And he'll go against Mark Bradley. They did battle a couple times last season. And it was a really good one. So we're just waiting for players to take their position, and we'll get underway. Perfect conditions in Inverloch. Here's a siren. And we're underway. Toussaint and Bradley, no one won the tap clearly. And Oscar Toussaint lays the tackle there on Gibson. And we'll have a repeat ball up. Here they go again. Bradley wins this tap convincingly, but it's taken by Oscar Toussaint. He gives it to Hams. So Park, and he rolls it inside 50, but the Dusties clean up. This is Nickel, I think it was. He's got an option inside the centre square, but they fumble it. Here's Bailey Patterson in his first game for Inverloch, and he turns it over. Obviously coming from Curramborough last season. The Dusties have possession though on centre wing right in front of us here in our broadcast position. Hand it around. This one will go back to Debenham. Debenham inside 50 to Bradley. So that's an intercept mark taken there by Short. He's another inclusion this season for Inverloch. Here's Wilhelms. Pushes it wide to Rankin on the half-back flank. He's got Patterson. So a bit of a slow movement here from Inverloch. They're looking to switch it again. They've got numbers. Here's Short. He'll go to Rankin. He's got to work for that one. Takes a nice one-hander. And he'll skip a play there, go up the line to Pryor, but he drops the mark. Gets a good block there from Eels. Goes up the line. And here's Joe Samalis. He's got an option inside. It's his coach, Tom Hams. And he's got Descent. Can they go here? He's got a big left peg, Marcus Descent. And he puts it out onto the centre wing. And here's Will Hams. Good build up here, but it goes over the head of Oscar Descent. He's able to clean it up. Here's O'Neill with the left peg in towards his captain in Mahoney. And it'll go out of bounds.
And your pre-game analysis there, Aiden, seems to be working perfectly. Just wonderful prediction there, because you're seeing Inverloch at the moment in the first couple of minutes, they're using a lot of the outside of the grounds, you know, on the wings, whereas although they haven't had a lot of possessions so far, Warragul were going through the corridor when they had the footy. Nonetheless, here we go. Inverloch going deeper inside 50 now at the forward pocket. Ball rolling around their heads. Yes!
It's
Toby Mahoney.
Toby Mahoney. He's dangerous with that left foot. He's your typical goal sneak, really. So anytime the ball is in his area, he's just so clever and he's so quick to get ball to boot on his left. And he's got Inverloch going with their first. And they've owned all the play, really, to start the game. And they deserve that one, Bailey.
100% certainly do. Toby Mahoney is going to be the first goal scorer of the day. And we return back to the centre square. 1-0-6 for Inverloch, 0-0-0 Warragul+Industrials yet to hit the board on your Total League Workwear scoreboard. So we go back to the rock. It's going to be Bradley who gives a little hit out. Wasn't to advantage though. Inverloch can't pick it up real cleanly though. So at the end it's going to be Ethan Parker got a good clean grab. Then Rankin kicks it out to the wing. It was a clean mark taken by Liam O'Neill, uncontested. Hams finds a teammate, or perhaps not. It was good defence from Michael Ablett, who is an absolute legend of the Warragul+Industrials. Punches it over the boundary line and we'll have a boundary throw in.
So a bit back and forth at the moment. Perfect conditions for a bit of run and gun footy, and we've seen that so far. But it's definitely hot on the inside. No team's really got ascendancy in the clenches so far. Here's Descent, nice tap, but can't find a teammate. The Dusties try and win clear possession, but they don't. It's bubbling about in there. Now the Dusties find a bit of a handball chain, and they're able to move it up the line. But it's picked off there by Will Hams, racking up the touches already. He's had an amazing start to the year. His first year in the gold, white and blue. Here's Short. He's the same, but he turns it over this time. Bradley working well into defence from his ruck position to start this one. And now they're moving the Dusties. They've got hands inside, and they've got runners on the outside too. Here's Beck up the line. He puts it in front of his teammate there in Brewster. And it's well marked there by Rankin. He's a genuine general down there. And he's great kick to release Short. And Short's got a runner in there. I think it's Patterson, and he goes up the line with a long one. This one looks for Liam O'Neill. He can't take the mark, but it goes over the back, and I think he infringed. No, it'll go out of bounds.
And it was good defence there from Ogden. Maybe could have been marking infringement there. A bit of front on contact, but it was really good to run back towards that contest and affect it. Now going in for a boundary throw-in. So Bradley versus Descent. It's been a good contest in the ruck so far. Bradley wins another hit out there, socket off the ground by the Dusties. Ball hits the deck. Players trying to get it off ground level. I think it was Todd Beck, the skipper, in amongst that, but nonetheless, another stoppage just outside Inverloch's forward 50. So Bradley was pushing the back. Umpire sees it and pays the free kick. So Bradley off by hands. Goes the inside option through the corridor. That is a beautiful find. I think it was to Brewster in the end. That kick was a bit poor though. They've got the numbers out here though, the Dusties. Was tackled to Sando. They're going to call for throwing the ball, and that is great pressure from Joe Samalis.
So Samalis will find his coach again in Hams. Hams goes back to Rankin. And the umpire calls play on and hit the deck. But he's got an option there in Short. Short's working really hard up and down the ground. Great inclusion this year for Inverloch. Tate Short. And Hams has got it again. Just looking to control the footy here is Inverloch. It's back in the hands of Short in defensive 50. He's got Rankin. And plenty of touches, these boys, to start the game. Here's Bolters, another inclusion this year for Inverloch. And he's too has had a great start to the year. They've recruited really well this season, the Sea Eagles. Bolters' kick looks for Will Hams out on the wing, but it'll go out of bounds. Centre wing here at Inverloch. Decent crowd building. Perfect day for footy. Round 5 action in the West Gippsland competition. So McCorn's moved into the ruck now. He'll go against Bradley. Bradley out-muscles him, but he taps it straight into the lap of Andy Samalas. He goes up the line towards Cumming. He does well on the second effort, but can't take possession. The Zussies work it well, but goes out of bounds once again. So Inverloch have tried to control it with a bit of uncontested marks throughout their defensive 50, but still haven't been able to really control the ball on the inside of the contest so far. There's a bit of a draw in the ruck there. The Dusties are able to win possession. They get the clearance. This one's up to half forward for the Dusties. Can anyone take the mark? No, it was a good contest there from Short, though, for Inverloch. A great tackle from Jarvis Pryor. And we'll have another stoppage.
And what I want to see here from Warragul is just a bit more composure going inside 50. They've bombed it a lot so far to start off this contest, and it's most times it's been really met with that Inverloch defender to back up there. So you'd want to see a bit more cleaner use going inside. Nonetheless, I think it was Hams operating the switch there. So now at the other side of the ground, close to the broadcast view, and it's going to be Thomas, who gives it off by hand to his teammate in Lachlan Scott. Almost a mark taken there by Tate Cumming. They've still got the numbers here, the Sea Eagles, trying to get it off, but no, it's going to be a turnover. So ball getting closer towards our camera here and should go over the boundary line, and in fact it will. DeSando unable to keep it in bounds. So yeah, another boundary throw in. Bradley, he's been excellent so far in the ruck, really dominating the hit-outs. Kick was a bit low, almost got in the way of Brewster, but then it was Cumming who took it out of the contest and was able to swirl around Scott. The handball was ill-directed, crumbed off at ground level. Do they have any force that can get there in time? Cumming again, he has had lots of the footy in the past couple minutes, but unfortunately he's going to be called for holding there, and now the Dusties can reset.
So they'll be looking to get a bit of control in the game here. A few drives they've had, they've sort of tried to run and gun and haven't really controlled possession too much, the Dusties. This one goes up the line in front of their coach's box and it's punched out of bounds by Pryor. So he's interrupted start to the year, Pryor. He's off travelling, but he's genuine, solid back pocket for Inverloch. Done it for many a year. Here's McCorn and Bradley again. Bradley ended up winning the tap on his knees and it will roll out of bounds. The umpire's called in the back, so the Dusty was there, kick here. It'll be the captain, Brewster. Brewster goes up the line. He's a one-on-one. Good work from behind there by Short, and he laid the tackle to follow it up and affected the kick, and Patterson taking the intercept mark, and he goes straight away. He's got O'Neill on the far flank. O'Neill will grab it and run. He'll put it on the left boot in front of the first gamer in Patako, but he can't quite take it cleanly, and he'll go out of bounds right in front of the scoreboard.
They're loving this switching game, the Sea Eagles, aren't they? Just constantly moving it across each side of the field, just trying to catch the Dusties off guard and off position, and they have probably been the better team in this first 10 minutes or so. So handballed out and will find its way back to the boundary line at half-forward flank.
Yeah, they really try and back their skills, and they really think that obviously they're one of the best teams in the comp in terms of skill and decision-making, and you can see that at the moment. It's really strong and clear that they want to switch the ball when open and get running and use their great foot skills to get inside 450. But the Dusties have held up really well. They've caught advantage here. It'll be Ethan Park in the direction of Toussaint. This is Oscar. So that's the other thing about Inverloch. They've got a lot of quality players in the engine room, and this is one of them, but they've got so many that they can rotate them forward, and each of them have got great forward craft, including this fella, Toussaint. Local boy.
2022 Team of the Year half forward.
He's been an outstanding player for the gold, white and blue. He comes in, kicks straight in front. For Inverloch's second, and he's got it. So they probably deserve that one too, Inverloch. They've worked hard. Oscar Toussaint's got himself on the board. Great work there inside. They're able to win that one and go real quick. Great body work and mark and finish from there from Toussaint. Great heads-up play from Park to play on and take advantage as well, and a good kick. And Inverloch have got 2 goals on the board. The Dusties yet to score on the Totally Workwear scoreboard.
It's unfortunate for Mark Bradley because he's actually put on a really good performance so far. He's getting those clean hit-outs, but as for their inside mids, they're just not winning these contests, and Inverloch just with far too easily moving it out. Anyways, going inside 50 again, the Sea Eagles off the boot of an Inverloch player. Now just trying to pick it up. I think it might have been Dorling, but not sure.
This is the first game of Batako. Has he got Wyatt? The umpire says yes, he was in bounds just. So, he's having a conversation with the boundary umpire here. And she's called out on the full. So, I guess that's given Inverloch a chance to set up defensively. But Warragul will have the kick deep in the netball court's pocket here of the Inverloch Recreation Reserve, and it's a high one in the direction of the 2 ruckmen. McCorn had Bradley sort of sit on his shoulders there, but no mark. And they were outrunning there, the Dusties, but the umpire has called out of bounds right in front of their bench here. So 6.5 minutes to go in the first term here. Inverloch lead it by 2 straight kicks. They'll have a throw in right in front of our commentary position here. It'll be McCorn and Bradley once again. Bradley doing a massive shift here. Hasn't changed as of yet. Started on Toussaint, now it's McCorn. No clean tap. Really well roved there from Scott, and he finds Samalis. Not a great kick, but it finds the hands of Hams, and he goes straight away to the top side. He's got a runner in Patterson. Can he tap it over to Thomas? He can. And he gets it back now, Hams. But it can't take it clean. It's a good tackle with a follow-up there from Patterson. And it's a stoppage. Left half forward for Inverloch. Toussaint's back in the ruck now. He gets over, jumps a bit early, can't quite get the tap. It's picked up, finds the left boot of Will Hams. He puts the Seagulls forward. Is it Mark? No. Good defence from behind from the Dusties. They're fighting for on the deck there. And the umpire calls another ball up. So despite Inverloch really switching play incredibly quickly and owning a lot of possession, the Dusties have held up really well defensively, Baz.
Yeah, certainly have. Just, although they've kicked a couple of goals at Inverloch, they've been able to still put on plenty of pressure on those Inverloch forwards. And here are the Dusties exiting outside of defensive 50. Decide to go through the corridor, and it was a clean kick. So it's then kicked further. He's got the open leading option in Kyle Staples. Now, will he go for this, or is he just going to take his time to assess what's in front of him? And I think he's going to back himself in here, Staples. Oh, no, he's giving it off to Ogden by hand, who lets one fly from 50 out. That's got the legs! Dusties get their first of the day.
So that was Travis Ogden running down from half back. He was outstanding in all 3 of their meetings last season. He's a genuine all-rounder, really, as you can see there. Been great down back for the Dusties to start, and the left foot finish on the run from outside 50 there, just to add to his game. the Dusties are on the board. The lead is Inverloch by just one straight kick. Here's McCorn and Bradley, and the umpires pinged him there. He's a called advantage. Boulders was off. Unfortunately, no. It'll come back to Clint McCorn. And they're looking to use that top side once again. This is Thomas. Hands it quickly to Wilhelms. Wilhelms can run and put a deep entry in the way of his captain, but he can't quite get to the drop of the ball there. It's punched away out of bounds. They look really dangerous with that play they keep going to. Switch to the top side, get their hands off and put it in deep. It's definitely something that the Dusties will be looking to stop in the second term.
Wilhelms has been so good so far, hasn't he? He's probably been best on ground conversation so far.
Here's Bradley. It's it out there towards the team out there. The Dusties are running outside defensive 50, and it's Staples again, but he can't quite take the mark. Sorry, that was Mockett. He mops up well. A little snap up the line. It's easily picked off from Pryor, but the umpire calls play on, not 15. And that's put Pryor under pressure, and he's holding the ball. So here's a look for the Dusties. It's Norton. He's looking for players to run with him. He's got one, but he doesn't use him. He puts it up the line instead, and Pryor will mark this one, and this one is paid.
See, just skills like that as well. You got to be more accurate with your kicks. Mockett's probably not that hard of a target to miss, so you got to make sure you're better by foot skills, really. And nonetheless, Inverloch receive the turnover, now moving. And in the corridor at the moment, of course, they'll go to that wing side that they love so much. Going closer towards the boundary line, it's going to be Joe Samalis. Kicks it up and forward to the contest, and that is a good mark. But they're going to call push in the back, and probably fair enough. So, Patako now. Debuting today. Oh, the kick was smothered. Still recover somehow, though, the Eagles. Samalis off by hands. I think that's Bolters. And then Patako, is it coming back? Oh, it's hit the post. Oh, so close. And the scoreboard now reads 2-113 to 106 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. Aiden.
Big sigh from around the Inverloch Recreation Reserve there as the first gamer almost had his first goal in his first quarter of senior footy. Just hit the post, and now the Dusties have it. They'll just look to control the footy here with a minute and a half left. This one goes in the direction of the big fella, Bradley. He can't quite get the jump. It's roved by Samalis. Tries to give it the hands off to short, and it's dived on by Staples. Sorry, Mockett. And there's a bit of afters here, right in front of us. The umpire has called a free kick. It'll go away to the Dusties for a high contact. I think that was, it's 50 metres too, so they've got time here. Inverloch will need to flood back quickly. There's still a minute to go. The 50 will get them right towards the half-forward flank. Mockett's not going really quick here. He's just jogging, looking for an option. Teammates telling him that Staples is on. Where does he go? Goes in that direction, but it's punched away. It's roved well there by Norton. Eels is fighting in there for Inverloch. He's claimed immediately, and it'll be a ball up. So you think Inverloch will just flood numbers back here and try and kill the last 30 seconds.
You think Mockett would have tried to run a bit harder there on the 50?
I was a bit surprised he didn't. That kick from the middle of the pack smothered. Hard to get out of this. There's a lot of players in there. Samalis distracts for Inverloch. It finds the boot of Wilhelms. But his kick only goes as far as Debenham. Debenham's got 15 seconds. He's about 50 metres out. I think he's just going to have the shot here. He'll let the clock run out. And he'll kick after the siren to finish this first term. It's been a good one. Is to cut the lead to 1.
So Inverloch, just to mention there, the timekeepers have just put on the rundown, so we've still got a little bit.
So Debenham's kick goes deep into the pocket. It's almost marked at the back there, but it's called play on. Tate Short wasn't sure what to do there. He sets it back towards the back flank. This is a true one-on-one. Cumming comes hard at it. Taps it away, and he's got to get a free kick too for his effort. So it was him and McGillivray there. It's Cummings' kick. He's told to move it on. He'll just put it up the line. In the direction of Toussaint. This is Marcus. It's punched away beautifully there from Ogden.
Ogden having an impact on either side of the footy. Terrific punch there to spoil the mark. So just over 20 minutes into the quarter. Suspects there'd be maybe 4 or 5 minutes left. And this contest is as even as ever. Sea Eagles up by 7. Boundary throw in. Descent wins the hit out. Should be to advantage, or maybe the Dusties are going to get to it first. I think it was Oldham who got a good handle on that, and then it was taken without the footy as well. So Kane Oldham is going to get a free kick, or maybe he won't. Okay, so instead it's going to be Thomas for the Sea Eagles. Eyes darting, looking for any option. He's told to play on, so he's just going to have to kick it really tight against the boundary line, and that is the easiest uncontested mark you'll ever see for Sam Russell. And he's at half back for the Dusties. Now he's having a bit of trouble to find a suitable option himself, so just a bit of ping pong here. And Descent got a hand to it. And boundary line pretty close to our camera here on the broadcast side.
So I've just put 4.5 minutes back on the clock. My mistake before. We're into time on, I think, here. So as we started, it'll be Descent and Bradley. Battled well in this first term. This time it's Descent tapping it backwards in the way of Andy Samalis. His hands are good to Oscar Descent, to Joe Samalis. So a bit of Descent and Samalis work there for Inverloch. But no one can take clean possession here as it goes towards the other forward flank for Inverloch. Trying to get it out over there, and the umpire will have it again. So despite the perfect conditions here today and a lot of open and running footy, we've had a lot of stoppages in this first term as the teams are sort of working themselves out on the inside. Here's Bradley. His tap goes right. Here's another touch for Andy Samalis. Goes back to Bolters. His left boot's in the way of Wyatt in the pocket. He's got it. So the man they call Pencil. He's a good kick. He'll probably back himself from here. He's looking for an option though. But I think he's well within his rights here. So Tom Wyatt comes in. Opens the angle a little bit, kicks on the way, it's not going to get there. Jumping is coming, can't complete the mark. To the top of the goal square now for Inverloch. A bit of pushing and shoving going on, no one takes clean possession. Here's Ethan Park with a snap, smothered well, off the deck, Wyatt. Out on the full. So, stressful stuff there for the Dusties, but they hold up well once again. And they'll have a kick here. Just under 3 minutes to go.
The amount of times that Inverloch have gotten dangerously close to goals, the Dusties have really been composed in defence. They've just got to try find a bit more composure up at the other end of the ground, and Inverloch once again come back with possession, but that kick's going to go out on the full. Yes, will be. So Dusties get it back immediately after losing it. Half back, could run a switch here if they like, but no, they will just go the short option to Beveridge. And he'll go a more forward option as well. Now centre wing, opposite the broadcast side. Staples flying, the ball just slapped out of his hands at the end of the day though, and once again over the boundary line for another stoppage. Haven't got a lot of time here, the Dusties. Got to be real quick if they want a goal going into quarter time. So it's taken out of the pack there by Beveridge, leading forward. I think the ball might have just hit the turf. Unlucky. So they're now going to push it out to the wing. Who's got the legs here? It seems to be the Dusties, or maybe the ball's going to bounce in a precarious position. So now back with the Dusties. That's a tight kick and couldn't take the mark in time. Or maybe he has called it for a mark. I thought he carried it over the line. Perhaps not.
So
what's the call here?
Both the boundary umpires are actually in the pockets, and the ball looked as though it was juggled out of bounds by the Dusties player there on centre wing. So the Dusties, obviously, as you would, were trying to claim the mark, but common sense won out in the end, and it'll be a boundary throw-in. Centre wing, front of the grandstand here, and it's a good crowd. 45 seconds to go. Can the Dusties make something out of this? No, it'll be Park to pick up first for Inverloch. He gets it to Dorling. He's shoved as he kicked, and that'll be downfield. The kick will go to O'Neill, and O'Neill's got time. He's got 30 seconds to put in. Inverloch back inside 50. He can run too. He's got space. Uses Tom Hams. Now Rankin. Now back to O'Neill. Good looping handball. And another one in the way of Scott. Scott will go inside 50 in the direction of Cumming. Has he got it? No, not paid. Didn't complete it. Here's Oscar de Son. Slick moves and can't quite find Park in the pocket, or Wyatt it was. Intercepted well there by the Dusties. Just trying to be a little bit cute there, Inverloch. It's a nice play though. Worked it well up the ring. And that'll do it. The Dusties go forward. But it'll only sit on centre wing, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. According to the scoreboard. The siren going to come? No. So Inverloch have the footy. Here's short. Clock's run out twice now. Anyway, here's Jarvis Pryor for Inverloch. He's got Patako leading for him. Chooses Rankin instead. Grasses the mark though. Had to go low. Couldn't quite complete it. The Dusties now try and work it. They've got numbers here running past. Here's one. He can't quite break away though there. DeSando, and his kick is cut off by Kyron Dorling. Recruited from Fish Creek this season. He's been good at halfback for Inverloch so far, and here's Rankin, who's just had plenty of it in this first term. Plays the halfback line so well for Inverloch. He'll go up the line with the right boot in the way of McCorn. Great mark. So Clint McCorn on centre wing. Looks for a lead. Can't quite see one. He's going to have to go short. Oh, well done there from Thomas. Led up the field and then came back. Inside ball, though, is not great. Made Samalas work for it. He's claimed immediately there by Brewster. Holding the ball. So the Dusties captain's got it.
Well, that was a bit stiff, that holding the ball call. Barely had any of it. Maybe it's because he fell on top of it. Not sure there. So Brewster kicks it forward. Finds Visser. And there we go. After the clock's run out twice, we finally get a siren. And it's going to be Inverloch Kongwak in front going into the first break. 2-1-13 to 1-0-6 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. And that was an interesting sort of quarter of footy. Despite Inverloch going in with the lead, I don't really think they were all that much better than the Dusties. I thought they competed well, both sides.
It's very similar to that elimination final in the fact that the Dusties just bring so much pressure, and no matter how composed you are as a player, you're just a bit unsure, just a little bit unsure. You've seen even there some of Inverloch's best users like Will Hams and Rankin sometimes miss kicks in space just because it's such a hot game, and you just know in your mind that the Dusties are always going to come at you, and they're not going to stop putting pressure on. So no one could really get on top on the inside there, and that's why it's as even as it is. But what you can see when Inverloch got it, that at this point, you know that at one stage in the game that if Inverloch really get their skills to the high level they can be and move the ball with pace, that the Dusties may not be able to hold up. But in saying that, they did pretty well considering they had so many entries, Inverloch.
Well, it's really evident to me that they're missing Mason McGarity quite a bit. They haven't really had anyone leading forward. They had Kyle Staples a couple of times who looked dangerous but wasn't able to take it cleanly. So it's going to be an interesting quarter of footy. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break at quarter time. Don't leave us. We'll be back shortly.
I'm going all the way up. I'm letting go Hey, I'm Michael van der Klooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. I'm going all the way up. I'm letting go in my heart of everything that holds me down. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
So it was an interesting first quarter in what has been a pretty good matchup between these two sides in Inverloch and Warragul. As we mentioned before the quarter time break there, Inverloch, Kongwak were probably just the team that got a little bit over the other in the end. I liked their ball movements, but it was just their skills, typically by foot as well, that got them into a bit of trouble there. But Warragul, they've certainly got a lot to work on. They've got to start entering inside 50 a bit cleaner, start hitting up more leading forwards. So, just waiting for the ball to be bounced here. We're going into the second quarter. Sea Eagles up by 7 points. Let's resume play. Bradley easily won that hit out, but it's not going to be advantage, so they're going to move through the middle here. Inverloch going towards half forward. No mark taken, but they should have nickel there for Warragul. And geez, he's got some legs on him. Look how quick he moved that footy up the ground. Will the ball go over the boundary line? It will. It's going to be take shorts that takes it over Aiden.
So again, both sides looking to move the ball quickly in the conditions. Probably won't get too many more games in conditions like this. Absolutely pristine. Here's Bradley and McCorn. Bradley muscles him out of the way, gets the tap, but it's won back by Inverloch. Bubbling about in there, and it will go out of bounds once again. So both sides looking to use the wings a lot to start this contest, and that has meant that a lot of the time we've seen the ball out of bounds for a stoppage. Haven't quite seen either team really take control and have slick play for more than a couple moments so far. Now it's in the middle of the ground. Samalas to Wilhelms, now Oscar de Sont can run. Put the ball into the space in front of his captain. Can't quite take the mark. Punch to the front. Here's Bolters showing the pace on the left boot. He'll dribble it. Does it go in? No.
Oh, I thought he had that.
And if you're wondering what sort of player Nick Bolters is, well, that's it right there. Just sheer pace and danger for opposition defenders. Coming out of nowhere there on the left peg, but it's probably to the displeasure of Jason Dunstall. If you saw that one, went with the dribble kick. Didn't serve him too well there either, unfortunately.
That's an elite reference from you there, Aiden. I like that.
Bradley, a bit of a punch away there from McCorn. It's back out of bounds on the far wing. So a bit of excitement in this one, but not the open play and control that we saw in the first couple minutes of the first term. So McCorn and Bradley will go again. Scheming is McCorn. Jumps a bit early, but wins the footy though, and his right boot will put Inverloch inside 50. Comes to centre half forward, but it's won there well by guess who, Ogden. He's been outstanding for Warragul so far. But his kick goes in the middle and it's a wobbler. It's won by Will Hams, gives it to his brother Tom, and he finds Rankin. The half-back brigade from Inverloch just been absolutely outstanding so far in this one. Will Hams, Tom Hams and Louis Rankin, if you're an opposition half-forward, you've probably got to check them, as weird as it sounds, because they just set Inverloch up so well.
Well, I've mentioned that Warragul haven't been really that strong up forward with their leads, but that's 100% correct as well. Their halfbacks today, Inverloch, have just been simply superb. So let's see what Warragul can do now. Kicks out of the pack by Toussaint and then dribbled over the line. Liam O'Neill couldn't get to it in time. And the clock is now counting up. So just 3 minutes into this one. It's the Sea Eagles by 8. Bradley has been one of the better players on ground today. Ball was bubbling around in the contest. No one could take it. Oldham, a little bit of a don't argue, then gave a spin. Now out here on the wing, the Dusties. The kick wasn't also accurate, but that is a great overhead mark. I think that was Ogden there. Or sorry, rather Shane Brewster. So now Brewster patiently waits. Someone's got to come forward of him. It's a good lead from DeSando, but there was just enough of pressure applied from the Sea Eagles. So now over by hands. Still not going over bounds here. That is ultra close. And let's see what they can do here, the ruckman. Bradley versus McCorn. Probably going to be a bit high there. No free kick paid, and then punched over the boundary line. DeSando versus O'Neill. Aiden.
So those couple of plays just there really highlights the way the game's gone, really. Not too much clean possession, a lot of hard footy, one-on-ones, players fighting for possession, not really winning it. So this throw-in finds the deck before it finds a set of hands. Now it's won by the Dusties. The handball goes to the deck in front of Gibson, though. And we'll have another stoppage. So McCorn and Bradley once again. Bradley wins the tap. And it's Oldham running onto it. Can't quite get anything of it though. And Short wins the footy. Gets it in the way of coming. He's pushed under it by his defender there. And Ogden works it out well. And the Dusties will have possession up the wing. But here comes Samalis. Great tap from behind there. He's working with O'Neill. Gets it back. Goes the handball on his own there to no one though. The Dusties win it back, and this one goes up the lines. They're going to stay in. It just does. In front of McCorn. Disappointed he couldn't mark that one there. Tricky ball.
Great persistence there and strength from Michael Debenham. You saw him there. He was blocking the sun with his eyes, actually, because he was making an attempt to mark it, but he just couldn't at the end of the day. And then even a bit further down at half forward, he was still making an effort to try and get that clean mark as well. So great work from Debenham. And boundary throw, and we've had plenty of them today. Bradley wins the tap. Hams in and amongst it. Or maybe it was Samalis, I think it was, sorry. And we'll go over the boundary line again. So I'd love to see how many stoppages have been from an out-of-bounds play. There's been so many today. with both teams using plenty of the wing. Corridor is looking awfully lonely. Brewster gave it a throw. It was ignored. Debenham off by hands to Visser. Then Mockett gives a big one up forward. Is Staples going to go overhead? No, it was punched out. They're still looking dangerous here, the Dusties, but they've gone for the rush behind Inverloch, and that looked really dangerous. Probably the best they've looked forward, going up forward all day. Warragul+Industrials 2-2-14, a 1-1-7 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. Aiden.
Yeah, so you see there, that's just the work of Rankin. You may look undersized there against Staples, but just coming over the top and that deadly left hand, hammer-fisted it away. Clutch stuff there. And Inverloch are out here. Park in the way of Wyatt at half forward. Great mark from Tom Wyatt. Can he turn and go here? He's got a number inside 50. It's Scott. Scott's got it and he takes off straight away. Does he have a crack at goal? He goes there. Oh, Mahoney. Captain Marnie tried to take the mark on the goal line there. He's a bit sore too. Brushed his fingertips and went through over the goal line.
The guy I was pointing to, obviously the camera can't see us, but the guy I was pointing to, Aiden, was Liam O'Neill. Had oodles of space in front of him. We were really unlucky not to get the mark there. Would have been a certain goal if he had got it.
So a bit of a battle of defences here. There's both sides holding up really well on the goal line. Oh, great kick from Desant. He's found Andrew Tsamalis. And he moves it on to the coach. Tom Hams from outside 50 gives it a ride. He's coming at full forward over the back. So they're exciting here, Inverloch. Putting the Dusties under a lot of pressure with some handball releases, and their skills have lifted in the last couple moments. What can the Dusties do here to get out of that Inverloch press? Ogden just goes short. So deep in the back half here, Warragul. Here is Beveridge. He's going to have to go up the line. Does so. Big contest on the wing. Punched over the back well there. Here's Patterson though for Inverloch. Mops it up. Goes the handball dummy. Nice. And here's Desant. He releases Wilhelms on the run. Left boot inside 50. Over the back is the first gamer. Doesn't quite get to him. He finds it though. Couldn't take clean possession. Inverloch is coming with the snap on the left. Yes! So you felt like it was coming then. And it was Tate, but you felt like that goal was inevitable. And that's what Inverloch can do to you.
From what I saw there, I thought Wilson McGivleray was probably a bit unlucky not to get the free kick there. It was pushed right into the dirt, but there's only so much you can do and only so much you can see as an umpire. But Inverloch kick another major. 3-4-22 to 1-1-7 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. We are 9 or so minutes into this second quarter. And the Dusties have certainly not been so poor that it's starting to look concerning, but they must start kicking some goals soon. We've only had the one so far. Bradley chucked a knee into, I think it was Desant there, or eventually came out of the pack. So running with it was Scott, looking for his man, leading up forward. No free kick paid to Pataka, I think it was. And then the ball is going to be trapped under the pack there. Umpire calls for a back at half forward for Inverloch. Bradley's had all the ruck duties today. He's looked pretty strong throughout most of this contest as well. Another stoppage coming your way.
So I just want to mention that last goal. That's just a bit of a sneak peek, I reckon, to what might happen in this game for either side. If it opens up, both sides, particularly Inverloch, can move it so fast and be so potent. And we've sort of been robbed of that so far in this one, as McGilvray had a nervous moment there, but ended up stepping out of bounds. All good pressure there by Cumming. But you can just see that once the team gets up and going in this one, either side, it can be really dangerous and exciting. So ball in. It was Bradley and Wyatt that time. It's won by the Dusties. They've got an option here. They work it well with hands. This is pretty good play from the Dusties. Can't quite find that kick to exit though. Good pressure there by Thomas coming up onto Debenham.
The effort from Warragul's backman's definitely probably gone understated. They've got that the footy in those really close positions to goal so many times in Inverloch, but it's been guys like Debenham who have stood really strong. So good work from the Dusties. Just got to start hitting the scoreboard a bit more. Hitting the deck was short. Umpire says, my ball, thank you very much. Now waits the ruckmans to come out. So it's going to be Warragul who win this one. Debenham, the broadcast side of the wing. Kicks it forward. Oh, look at Staples here. He was looking dangerous, but once again, Rankin, just without effort, going in for that footy. He's been brilliant. And couldn't keep it in, however, though. So now a boundary throw in. Closer to goals for Warragul+Industrials. But they've won this contest. The Sea Eagles just stays in bounds. It's going to bounce over the boundary line before Tom White could get to it. Conditions still extremely sunny here, so there are many marks missed. You can't really blame them. Still pretty windy out here today. Bradley gives a big old fist. And just a bit of ping pong there between him and Jordan Thomas. Now the handball was affected heavily coming from Kane Oldham. It was a good read there from Ethan Park, Aiden.
Yeah, the pressure is still just mega around every contest, and it's so hard to work that ball out quickly. It's been really rare that a team's really burst out of a stoppage because both sides are just applying heaps of pressure for the ball. Here's Bradley, double fist this time. Here's Debenham, stiff arm on Thomas, didn't work. Wouldn't be doing that to Geordie Thomas. Great tackle, holding the ball, obviously tried to take him on with the stiff arm. Didn't have it for very long though. He had McCorn screaming for it right in front of him. Instead goes back to Eels. Eels' kick's not great to Bolters, and Gibson's able to cut it off. He's got a number in front of him. The airball's in the way of Mockett, but this is taken there by Debenham, who's had a great start to this one, but his kicks are right.
Where were the forwards there? Why was Staples so high up the ground?
I think everyone expected Thomas to go short to McCorn and then McCorn to run off with it, because McCorn had heaps of space on the wing, but he went backwards instead, and the Dusties probably didn't expect to win the ball back there. So you're right, there was no forward inside 50. I probably would have loved to see a block from Mockett to really release Debenham there, but either way, he's behind. This one goes to the first gamer in Batako, and he does well. Takes the mark out at half forward, half back flank rather, and finds Cumming. Cumming's got McCorn again. This time he gets the footy, and he's got Hams running for him. Or he'll use his own left boot, and he puts it to the full forward line. Punched away there though, and the free kick's been found. From the umpire away from the play there. It's going to be holding, I think, the way of Marcus Desant. So another electric play from Inverloch, and that's 50 metres, and the under 18 boys behind the goals love that one. And you think this is a certainty for Marcus Desant. The build-up was pretty good from Inverloch, pretty hard to stop. Won the free kick. I think the 50 might have been for a bit of complaining there on the Dusty side. Desant puts it through, extends Inverloch's lead. And him and McCorn just so good as a 1-2 punch in the ruck.
Poor McCorn, that bloke, the past couple of minutes has had to belt his lungs out to get a touch of the footy. He's wide open, man. Oh, you can't really say that much because it resulted in a goal, but geez, he was desperate for it, and I don't blame him. He was wide open for a long, lengthy period of time.
He's a player you want to use. He's got a lethal left boot, and
yeah,
he's a great overhead mark, so you can see why he was screaming for it.
So, resuming play here, Brewster got a possession of the footy and then was immediately wrapped out. Just look at the fight there from either side. I know it's 20 points the difference, but you really feel like Warragul aren't that far behind at the moment. It's just, as we mentioned so many times throughout the broadcast, getting up forward has been their real issue. Beveridge, can he make a difference? Kicks a high one, looking for DeSando, but he ran into his player. So Beck, the skipper for Warragul, he's had a bit of a quiet one in this first half. couldn't get possession, and here come the Sea Eagles. Long handball over to Tate Shorts, and then another handball. So they are moving the footy really well here, the Sea Eagles, and just as I say that, they turn it over. So now Warragul pushing forward. Look at that. Brewster right in the middle of the ground with a lot of space towards him. Now going inside 50. Is this Staples leading forward? Oh, you're going to take the overhead mark, man. Jeez. He has had a less than ideal day of Kyle Staples. And once again, the Sea Eagles defence comes up big. Warragul, Debenham, the heart and soul of this club at the moment. Short kick, did that go 15? I'm not sure. Brewster was hit in the end though. Maybe in the back, they're not going to call it. The umpires, the play is going to keep going on. Jeez, the half-back speed from Inverloch is simply outstanding. Bailey Patterson kicks it forward, looking for a man, ends up finding Thomas White, who plays on, going inside 50, touches it along the ground, then kicks one, centralising kick, gonna find anyone? Oh no, should have been a mark there, and Warragul recover, and it really probably should have been a goal there for Inverloch, but it was Toby Marnie who couldn't take the mark. Ball's still live here, and eventually the umpire blows his whistle, Aiden. What a chaotic sequence.
It's just been such an almost afternoon for the Warragul forwards. The leads have been great. They've got separation. They've had some great link-up plays going in. They just haven't been able to take that last mark or hit that last kick. And it's just something you have to do against this Inverloch side, who's proven the benchmark so far this year.
And even that kick right there, that is not the kick to take from the wing. When you've got a 2v1 situation against your team, you don't kick inside. And here come the Sea Eagles pushing inside 50. That's a behind going in the way of Nick Bolters. A bit unlucky. He's had 0-2 to his name, Aiden.
And that's something last year they were working on. It's just, if they're to take that next step, the Dusties, and become a true contender in this league, they've got to clean that up. But you can see they've got the players, they've got the talent on every line. They can do it, and they've improved every year, and they don't stop improving. They've got a great young core. It's just that last kick that's hurting them, and against the top sides, you just can't do that. You'll come undone, unfortunately. But here's Debenham having some sort of quarter. Handballs to a man who was instantly under pressure, though. And McCorn having a quarter himself. Got the leg to put it right to the goal square. Pulls it back a bit, though. He'll go over the back, and Cumming can kick his second on the right. Doesn't bend enough. So they've got a lot of danger about them in Inverloch at the moment. You mentioned it before, Warragul's defence has been outstanding to put up with the surge, really. But they just keep coming, Inverloch, and they just kill you for your mistakes. But I haven't really been able to capitalise on the scoreboard this term. They're 4-6-30 playings. Warragul's 1-2-8 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. 19.5 minutes gone. This kicks up the line. It will stay in. Bit of swing about it. And it's punched away from behind.
Just some scores around the grounds. Dalston leading Coralin by 21 points, 41-20. Geez, they've had a good start, the Maggies, to their 2023 season. Kilcunda Bass currently leading Bunyip by 14 points. Phillip Island's up against Kiwi Rupp. They're winning by 29 points, the Doggies. And then Garfield versus Curramborough is actually a close one. 5 points the difference. Garfield are winning that one. And Narnagoon versus Tooradin, no update just yet. And that kick is going to go out of bounds. And just for some AFL score updates as well, Port Adelaide only beating the Roos by 19 points down in Tassie in the Jason Horn Francis Cup. I'm not going to mention a single word about booing because we all know about that. And then Fremantle also beating Sydney 45-32 in a close contest up in Sydney. So here, Inverloch, sorry Aiden, you go.
McCorn releases Scott, and Scott's kicking away of Toussaint. That's Marcus, can't quite take the mark though. It's fought well there from Warragul. Such desperate defence in this first half. It's so good to see. That's one of the ways you can really get on top of Inverloch, if there are any, is just to keep fighting and not get down when they keep pressing and putting you under pressure in defence. They've been outstanding. And they've held up, they've been scored against, but they've been so good.
And off camera, I've just seen Jackson Mockett. He's gone straight to the rooms, taken off his boot and his sock. His ankle was, or his foot rather, was heavily strapped. So something to keep an eye on. And if he's out, that's a big loss because they lose a bit of height with that.
Certainly would. They've already obviously lost McGarity coming into this one, as we mentioned. McCorn sort of pushed in the back there, appeals for it, no free. Warragul work it well, and they can release this one. But Thomas straight on the scene. Line for the away bench. They don't like it. The away fans, rather. But Geordie Thomas, a tackling machine. Came from nowhere again and stopped that Warragul play. Gets it onto short now. Bit of a dance, and he'll go into the centre. Here's Samalis. This is Andy. Back with the Seagulls this season. He's got Park right in the centre of the nest. Ethan Park assesses his options. Not a great kick in the way of Pryor. He runs over it. Tries to get the handball away, but it's good pressure from the Dusties. That's in danger. Really good work there from the Dusties to fight that one back. They've got a handball option. It's just come undone. I think that was Nickel. That's unlucky. The handball was a little bit behind him. He would have been away then, but juggled it a bit too much, and he was claimed by Ethan Park. Inverloch wing it back. Here's Dorling. Doesn't get a great bounce. Dusties have another chance here. This is Templeton. He can go inside 50. Not a great kick though. This is a true one-on-one. Tries to get some help there, is short. Rankin arrives on the scene. Oh, strong Visser. His snap along the ground. Can't quite make it. The goalkeeper was there to save the day. And Inverloch run it out again. They've got Hams. This is Will. Will's clear, but he stops play. He holds it up. He looked forward, didn't quite see a clear path or any clear option. So he's just going to wait and put it over the top. Interesting option there. I thought he could have gone for a run. He's put it over the top of Samalis' head, and Warragul won it back.
It's a very dangerous footy here. Look to go throughout the middle, but no, they'll go towards more of the wing option. Warragul, that is a great mark. Now you've just got to find the right option going inside 50 here. They'll take their time. The Dusties going inside. Is this going to be a mark inside 50? No, it's going to be Inverloch again. I actually, correct me if I'm wrong, I can actually not recall a time that Warragul+Industrials have taken a mark inside 50 today. I don't think they have. It'd be great to have the statistics, but unfortunately we don't. So here is Hams, the former Bombers player, going inside 50 through the corridor. And a great mark from Oscar Toussaint. And now he has an opportunity to go back and kick. I think he's second of the day, Aiden.
Yeah, so he can do it everywhere, this fella, but he's just so skillful and smart. Put him forward a lot this year after a fair few years in the midfield. He's just a special player. He'll kick from about 30 metres. Slight angle. Kicks on the way. Is it there? You bet. Oscar Toussaint kicks his second. And that's probably the best build-up Inverloch have had all day. Outstanding. And again, it started from their defence, who have just been absolutely superb. So good to watch. Tate Short was undersized in that contest, but just the smarts and the body work to take the intercept mark and just release Will Hams, who's just, you can't say enough about that guy. Running the wing in the helmet and the number 16. His left peg found Toussaint for his second.
Saw my bedroom wall, Will Hams. I'm a Dons fan myself, 2015 Essendon poster. He's sitting right up there. So, here we go. Tapped up by Toussaint, and then taken clean out of the middle by the Sea Eagles. Going forward once again. They're just looking like the far better team as we draw closer to half-time. Over the back of the head was the handball. Still trying to shrug their way free. O'Neill, very tight angle, and that might be out in the full. Or is it going to be a mark? It will be a mark. Just trying to see who that is.
It's Hams.
Hams. I did say the helmet, but the sun, geez, that is very bright. Will Hams. Kicked it inside 50 on the last play. Goes around the corner, snaps around the body. And that one's through as well. Will Hams having a day out here at Inverloch.
So I was getting at it in the first term. If either side was able to get their run going and hit every kick and start linking up and open up the game, they could easily run away with it. And that's what Inverloch's done in the last 10 minutes. It was really tight, probably the tightest it's been. It was a bit of an arm wrestle to start this term. But this last 10 minutes, they've kicked away.
It's great news to see Jackson Mockett returning to the field as well. Didn't look to be in the best of spirits going to the rooms with his boot off, but returning back to the field now, Aiden.
So 26.5 minutes gone. Inverloch leading it by 34 points on the Totally Workwear scoreboard, and we're back in the middle. It's 4-4 between Brewster and Andy Samalis. Here's Toussaint back in the middle now. Gives it to his brother Marcus. Back to Samalis. His handball releases Bailey Patterson. First game for the Seagulls. Cuts it out in the way of coming. Can't quite take the mark. Great tackle there from Wyatt. Inverloch still putting pressure on the Dusties here. They're trying to work it out of defence. Now it's Gibson. Can't take the mark. He's pressured by Scott. His handball doesn't hit the target either. This is immense pressure by Inverloch Kongwak. Bubbling about in there. Now it's Oscar Toussaint. He's snapping ball. Is that a goal? It is! Unbelievable. And in the space of probably 10 minutes, this lead has grown and grown and is now 40 points the way of the home side Inverloch Kongwak. And that's exactly what I spoke about before. If one side could just find a way to burst out of stoppage and find a clean handball, and that's exactly what the Seagulls did there, finding Toussaint. And what a finish for his third.
And as we've mentioned so many times, not only has it been the burst out of stoppage that has helped them a bit Inverloch, but like that pressure on Will Gibson, that poor bloke was never going to escape that situation. Do the Warragul+Industrials Footy Club have any response going to half-time? There can't be much time left. Here we go, Oldham. Did a little bit of a Yui as he looked for anyone, couldn't find anyone but DeSando on the wing, who now pushes forward looking for Visser. The kick was too high for him though, spinning out of the pack to an open player at full forward, Kane Taylor. And that was much better work from Warragul+Industrials. Who was the guy that kicked it out and spinning? I'm not sure who it was there. I think it might have been Brewster. Nonetheless, Kane Taylor, instant response from the Dusties, and that might give him a bit of a push going into half-time.
I was just about to mention something like that. A goal late when you haven't had any of the play can really change the way that a third term can go. They get that goal there, you know they'll go into the rooms, they'll be really positive. They've beaten Inverloch before in the biggest game of the year last season for both sides at the time. So that just gives the Dusties that positivity and momentum that they need, even though Inverloch have just been really just dominant in the last 10 minutes. But a great goal from Taylor there, and we're back in the middle. It'll be Toussaint and Bradley. Toussaint wins the tap and wins possession as well. Puts it in the path of Joe Samalis. His kick's a bit of a scrubber, but it's taken well by Thomas, but his handball misses. Gives it straight to Beveridge. Beveridge has got Gibson. They're away now, the Dusties through the middle. And this one will just be picked off by Tom Hams. And that half-back line from Inverloch has just been running this game. First year Seagulls head coach puts it out to the first game player in Bailey Patterson, and he goes back to his mate Jarvis Pryor, deep in defence for Inverloch Kongwak. And Pryor goes to Rankin. They might look to just bleed a bit of clock here. That's just ticked over 30 minutes gone in this one. Toussaint calls for it long. He's right in front of us here. Can he climb over the top? He can. As easy as you like. Great athleticism from the Inverloch ruckman. He goes up the line in the way of first gamer. He's just beaten well there. Too strong on that occasion was Commodore. And he motions to slow it down. And that'll do it for the first half. Saw some really exciting footy in that second quarter. It's Inverloch 7-6-48 leading the Warragul+Industrials 2-2-14 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. Inverloch were able to open the game up a bit in that patch in that second quarter and show what they're all about. extend the lead out. It was a bit of an arm wrestle in the first 10 minutes, but then the Dusties fought back well, showed their stability, and finished with the last goal of the term through Kane Taylor, just to breed a bit of positivity. This one can still go either way. It's a 34-point margin at this stage, but I'm just excited for the second half. What a day, what a game of footy you've had.
Especially after that goal there to end off the second quarter from the Dusties. I'm feeling a real shift of momentum in the atmosphere here. Let's see how they respond going into the second half. Inverloch Kongwak beating Warragul+Industrials 7-6-48 to 2-2-14 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. We'll be back shortly. We're going to take a quick break.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Wonderland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. You know, if I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderkluster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, you know, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. You know, if I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
Welcome back to the Fairhaven Homes match of the round stream of the West Gippsland League. Today's contest between Inverloch Kongwak and the Warragul+Industrials. It's Inverloch up at the moment, 48-14, and it has been a tight contest so far. Despite what the scoreboard says, both sides have been pretty quality. Just some quick scores around the grounds. Dalston winning against Coralline 47-29. It's Kilcunda beating Bunyip 52-44. Kui Rupp starting to claw their way back, 66-40 against Phillip Islands. Garfield and Currumbara still sits at 44-39, and Narnagoon versus Tooradin Dalmore, not a score yet. But what are you expecting to see from this quarter, Aidan?
I think the Dusties will come out obviously hard again. They'll put a lot of pressure on and try and use that late quarter momentum they carry from the second term to sort of nick a couple back here. If they can kick a few goals in the opening moments of this term, I think it could be on for young and old. But you just think at some point in the second half, Inverloch might run away and bang another few goals on, and if that happens, it's pretty hard to see them getting overrun. But anything can happen, and if anyone can beat them, it's clearly the Dusties. They've done it before. As I mentioned, they're a building team. They've got a lot of self-confidence, and they're not shy of a big game.
No, certainly not. But as for the third quarter, I'd probably go with Inverloch as my tip as well. But Warragul are still most definitely a chance in this. Let's see how they can come back in this third term. Toussaint I should say rather, wins the hit outs. And then, that's a big falcon. Jeez, that poor, I think it was Will Hams who smacked it into his teammate's head. Did you say he got the falcon there?
I didn't say it, but poor Will was sort of running on. It's one of those ones where you're running with your head parallel to the ground, almost falling on your head, and try to get the kick away straight into a teammate there. And Brewster got the kick away from Warragul out of bounds. It's thrown back in. Bradley wins the tap, but Oscar Toussaint steals the handball away and puts Inverloch inside 50. Is it carry the back? Not quite. Samalis is out the back. It's Andrew. Does he lay the tackle on Ogden? He can't. Ogden flicks it back. Dusty's still under pressure. It's a high ball out the way of Joe Samalis. Takes a nice mark. Deep in the left forward pocket for Inverloch. It'll be about 35, 40 metres out. He'll play on to open the angle. I think he's going to have a go here. He does. That kick never had the legs. And it's marked well on the goal line. The Dusties copping a bit of love from the Inverloch Kongwak under 18s from behind the goals there. Just gets to Gibson and his handball to his teammate there. And here is Debenham. Had an outstanding second term. Really kept the Dusties in and around the ground. His work rate is superb. He puts them into attack. Big pack forms, almost marked there by Dorling. Tate short runs from behind, tries to pick it up, but runs over the line. And a bit of push and shove after the ball went out of bounds there has led to a Dusty's free kick right in front of us here. It'll be Brewster. And he plays on. Goes up the line. It's a decent kick, but Dorling in front read that beautifully. So, first year Seagull, after playing his footy at Fish Creek, goes up the line towards his big ruckman into Sant. It's punched away from Bradley. Right in front of us here, Baz.
And there we go. Right in front of us is Shane Brewster. He's probably been, I'd imagine, the best Dusty today. It's a conversation between him, Debenham, and maybe Ogden as well, or even Mark Bradley, who's been big today. But just got to start. Oh, what has happened there? Geez, I'm left confused by that decision there. Mark Bradley, instead of tapping, he's just giving it a big old boot out on the full. Nonetheless, to Sant. Just a centre wing, off by hands to Hams. Felt the instant pressure to Sant. Their handball was inaccurate. They still should come out with this, the Eagles. In fact, they will. So that was a really little clever kick there to the leading Wyatt. And then centralises the ball. No mark taken. Who's going to win this contest? Hams comes flying out of the contest. Just probably not gone the distance. Oh, they're going to pay the mark. They will. It was a long...
And if I may take over, the boys behind the goals, they're his under 18 teammates. This is the young fella, Jordan Batako. His first game of senior footy, wearing the number 33, big in his family. He's got all his best mates behind the goals. He's played all his footy with them. He's right in front of us here. Comes in for his first goal in senior footy. It's across the face. So a couple times he's missed from that position. Tell you what, the boys behind the goals would have gone crazy if that went through. But either way, he's providing such a great contest up forward for the Seagulls, is Jordy Batako in his first game. He was a late inclusion with, obviously, Dill Clark pulling out last night. Either way, the Dusties go forward in the way of Mockett. Can't quite take the mark. Shoved out well there. And oh, look at that from Debenham. A bit of a sidestep. And now the Dusties are in the centre of the ground. Kick's not great, though. It's mopped up by Rankin. And he goes forwards and backwards and gives it to Dorling, who in turn goes to his coach in Tom Hams. And he finds Wyatt. And that's just Inverloch to a tee. Such composure and the skills to match. And Wyatt's kick's no different, but it just finds the deck. It's picked up well there and put back inside 55. Bolters to full forward in the wave. He's Captain Marnie. Gets rid of his opponent. Well, one is left. Can he bend it through? Yes. So Inverloch Kongwak get the first goal of this term. Again, they've opened up with a lot of the play. Warragul struggling to get out of that press that they put on. They've had a few drives, but it's just their skills. You just love to see Warragul. They've played such good footy. They're really up for this contest, but they just can't hit that last kick going inside their forward half pass.
And they can't really their contested marking today has just been subpar, the Dusties. I know it's not necessarily easy against Inverloch, who are a bit of a taller side than most, but that's really what I want to see. Some more contested marking skills from the Dusties. So ball's going to go instantly back down the ground. Umpire will say, give the ball back, thanks. It was Oldham at the bottom of that one. So Bradley taps it. Brewster couldn't get a clean hand to it. Here come the Sea Eagles again, or maybe the Warragul+Industrials Footy Club before Ben Nickel is taken for holding the ball. And here is Batako. 0 goals, 2 behinds today. Still been a pretty good debuting performance. Ogden could have been front on contact there. Umpire didn't notice it. Handball was inaccurate though, so they've got a real big opportunity to hit the scoreboard once again. Inverloch. Ball hits the deck and they try to go to ground level. Instead we'll get a quick stoppage about, you'd imagine, 25 metres out from goal. Just try to exit out with a clearance kick. Did the Dusties, and that's not going to come bending back. No, I thought it could have been even a mark by Toby Marnie on the goal line, but no, go through for a behind. So 8-8, 56 plays 2-2, 14. Inverloch dominating this third term so far, Aiden.
So, an accurate shot there by Samalis. Has been moved forward to start this term. And Warragul will have it with a mark in defensive 50. Now it's moved to centre wing. Samalis, that's Joe. He'll jump first, but he'll run under it, and it's punched away, and it trickles over out of bounds. Pretty much centre wing, outer side. Still absolutely gorgeous conditions here at the nest. Going to be Bradley into Sant once again. They've had a great battle. Always awesome to see some really competent and athletic and strong ruckmen going at it and having a nice even battle. It's really good for footy. Here's Batako once again. Slick hands and releases Bolters. Seagulls have a real chance here. Wide back to Bolters. He's got it. The pace of Nick Bolters is a sight to see. And he's quickly, this season, his first for Inverloch Kongwak, he's quickly come onto the scene and announced himself as a real danger around goal. If he's released on the run, there's not too much you can do about it. And a nice finish there, linking with hands all the way in. And the Seagulls have got their second of the term. They lead at 9-8-62 to the Industrials 2-2-14 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. And we've just gone over 8.5. We're coming up on 8.5 minutes gone.
Spill, I missed that one. Starting to get a bit cold down here. Had to chuck on the jacket there, but nonetheless, Bradley. Hit out was not to advantage. Hams now in the guts, just smacked it forward towards the forward line. Look as the Sea Eagles, they are moving forward with dominance. Is this going to be another goal? No, Ogden read that ball perfectly and then shrugs off his opponent. The handball wasn't all that accurate at the end of the day, though, so Debenham, he's going to give it off. Now Oldham moving towards the centre of the grounds. And this is decent ball movement from Warragul. They've really caught the Sea Eagles out of position here. Debenham, Brewster, Debenham, Taylor. He's pushed up forward a little bit. That's an accurate kick. Maybe fell a little bit short. But now they're looking really dangerous off the turnover, looking ready to attack Inverloch. So now in the middle of the ground, it's going to be coming. And then just the dribbling kick forward going to Marnie. Evades one, shrugs off his opponent from 40 out. Has missed and will go over the boundary line. But geez, that was exciting from either side there. Warragul looked really dangerous through Debenham and Brewster, but then it was just a turnover in the middle of the ground. And then Inverloch were able to capitalise on the turnover. Bradley wins the hit out, could be holding the ball. They want it, the under-18s there at the other end. Still doesn't have clean possession, neither side. And then umpire calls for a boundary throw-in.
So the Sea Eagles pressing to start this one. They would have mentioned that at half-time. They'll be well aware that if they can open up this term with multiple goals, they'll really put the pressure on Warragul. They're a great side, the Dusties, though. You know they'll never stop, they'll never give in, and they're always a chance. You saw that in season 2022. No one really gave them a chance, and they got all the way to that prelim final. But it's inside 50 for Inverloch Kongwak. Can they get another here? It's Sonton Bradley. Falls to the front. This is Brewster. And he finds a teammate. And the mark's not paid because it was touched, I believe. It was a good tackle there from the Seagulls forward. We'll have another ball up. So they've been able to force repeat stoppages here, the Dusties, and show that they're pretty strong in defence despite the pressure you may put on them, but that's not their best effort. Kick out of bounds on the full.
They're right into a car as well.
Car, yeah.
Oh, ouch.
You'd hope that that hit the tyre and not their body work. Either way, it'll be Lachlan Scott's kick right on the corner of the paint of 50. His kick's great in the way of his skipper, but he can't quite mark it. Standing in the way there was Dusty's defender, really bravely there, and to the displeasure of the supporters behind the goals, the Dusties have won a free kick out of it, and they go short. So they've been looking to still use the wings here. I think it'll get to a stage in this third term if they aren't able to put a few goals on where they're going to have to try and use the middle. I know their skills haven't been up for it today, but when you're close to giving up some margin, you've got to try it at some stage. Here's Visser. It's in amongst a bit of rough and tumble last week. That's a great mark in front of us by Mockett, and he's sore. He's gone straight into the fence there. There's no padding around it, obviously, around here, and he's right in front of our camera here. It's an absolutely remarkable take with Eels draped all over him, and the crowd get around him, and rightfully so. There's only about a metre between the boundary line and that metal pole, which he absolutely clambered into straight in the gut, and he's got up and taken his kick away. That is courage right there, and that's something the Dusties could build off. Here's Vissel, great mark, one-handed. It's a bit of a hot head, and he's turned it over. Maybe don't spend your tickets before the show. Either way, they've won it back now. Here's Nickel. He's got an option on the top side. So this will spread the Seagulls' defence. Running and using the option. It's not a great kick once again. And then I go out of bounds. So the thing they just haven't been able to handle today is that ability to hit the kick. When you take the risk, when you switch, when you're running forward, you've got to hit those sort of kicks. They just haven't been able to. Now it's Bailey Patterson to Rankin for Inverloch. He's got Pryor. So Jarvis Pryor assesses his options, had a look for the switch, not there. He'll play on now and go short to Eels. Mockett still looking pretty uneasy, as you would. Fence got the better of him there, but he's playing on. That's proper toughness. Eels goes up the line towards Park. Bit of pushing and shoving there, and it's punched out of bounds right in front of us again.
And as we have a stoppage here, just want to make it aware that number 30 is Ben Nickel, and then number 58 is Herbert. So that wasn't listed on Play HQ, but just apologies for that as we resume play. So Bradley cannot believe the decision there, and I think the umpire even just gives him a bit of a warning there. So McCorn goes inside. Rankin just waits, and it's a nice looping handball over the Hams, and then he kicks it further up forward. Now looking to go inside 50. That's a big, long ball straight into the chest of the opponents in Michael Ablett. Now they go to Templeton. And they've given away another free kick, the Dusties here. So just been undisciplined the past couple of minutes. And it hasn't been all that much of a desirable day for this footy club. Be interesting to see if they've got any fight left in them. Kick forward, DeSant nearly grabs it, but Warragul end up with a footy. Exit outside of defensive 50 immediately. Mockett ran right into his player. Thought he might have gone Kane Taylor, but no, he went Templeton, who then goes for the centralising option, and that only goes as far as Rankin, who then goes out towards the wing. That is a mighty accurate kick. Great finds to his teammate there at centre wing. Then kicks it back over. I think that's... Just trying to see who that is.
McCorn.
McCorn, yeah.
McCorn to Will Hams. Hams goes backwards. So that's something that they've really worked on this season, and they've been so good at it, Inverloch. They've always had that ability to go fast, link up with hands, and play that real quick run and gun footy. But this year, they've really worked on the control footy, the slower footy, where you sort of tire a team out, you can halt momentum. And done that really well as well this year, and that's massive in footy these days, being able to change gears, you could say. So Joe Samalis' kick goes into the hands of Nicholas Balters. Balters' kick direction of Marcus Desant goes over him. His brother Oscar's there to help. He puts the pressure on, and Dusty's handball away finds Ethan Park, and his kick sort of squabbles to the forward pocket. And the Dusties win it, but the kick again to no real target, and Nick Boulders will line up for another goal for Inverloch Kongwak. I think since he's not on the run, he might be on his range here. Obviously, haven't seen heaps of him, only being a first-year player for Inverloch Kongwak this season, but he'll kick from about 50 metres. And he gives the handball to Short. He's gone to more of an angle, but the kicks looks good. Doesn't have the legs. It was an interesting decision. Short was on the run unattended, but the man on the mark and ended up putting enough pressure on to force the kick a bit short there from Tate.
So scoreboard now reads 99.63 to 22.14. Inverloch have been dominant in this contest today. Intercept, mark, taken by Hams, then goes through into the corridor for the middle option. And now out towards the wing. Pauses for a sec, then kicks it. And it's an accurate kick. Now, I don't think he's going to go for the set shot here, or maybe he will. Well, he's still not looking confident, so he'll kick it back out, this time finding Bolters once again, who's been good up forward today. Oh, lost control, but still able to get the kickoff in time. And the overhead mark wasn't able to be taken. It was Todd Beck, who has not had a lot of the footy today, but affected that contest there.
So just in a bit of a holding pattern at the moment. The Seagulls started really hot this quarter, but the Dusties have been able to really, well, it's their trademark fight and scrap that can hold a team up. That really holds them well. So now they're linking up well. They've decided to go the long way around defensive 50. They're doing it all right. The kick was looking for Debenham from Beveridge, but it was smothered well there. An excellent effort in the pocket from the Seagulls forward. Seeing who that is on the bottom of the pack there. I think that was skipper Marnie. It was. So here's to Sonton Bradley. Bradley over the back, nice, but Will Hams was the first to get to it cleanly, and he's claimed immediately by Beveridge. A good battle there. We'll have a repeat stoppage deep in the right-hand forward pocket for Inverloch Kongwak. Ball goes up. This will favour Bradley, but Desant gets over the top. It's won immediately by Beck, but he didn't have any plans of going anywhere because he was taken high. Wins the free kick. Goes out towards the man in Herbert, this is, isn't it? So, yes, Dusty's just got to try and either control possession or get some free-flowing play going. Oh, here's a great rove there by Tom Hams. He's put into the deck there, though, by Taylor, but he gets straight back up. They weren't able to really move the ball out of that one, and umpire Brian Lansdowne calls for the footy and throws it back up. Bradley right over the top, but his tap went nowhere. It's claimed by McCawn. His hands goes to Samalis. He ducks under the tackle and gets it to Short. Here's McCawn again. Thought about a couple options. Now he tries to release Park, but the handball doesn't get to him. Good work though by Beveridge. And now they gang tackle him, but he gets the ball away. Debenham saw on the deck there. Here's Bolters. Used his pace well to get out of that one. Gives to his fellow recruit in Short, and Short's kick goes inside 50 to the danger zone. Trying to tap it over the back is Marty, and he gives it to Thomas. Great work there by IK once again. There was no clear mark or really disposal in that passage from Short's kick, but smart work there by the experienced Marnie, tapping it in the path of Geordie Thomas, and he made no mistake. So the Seagulls now 10-9, 69, playing the Dusties 2-2-14. And they're really just asserting their dominance as they have for the first 4 games of this competition, Baz.
Yeah, it's been an impressive outfit for Inverloch Kongwak today, and it is starting to look well out of reach for Warragul+Industrials. Bradley out of the ruck, gave it off, I think it was Brewster, and kicked it long. It was Visser who kept on fighting for the footy, and then he's going to be getting a free kick here for pushing it back. So they've only got the 2 goals here. The Dusties had a man open in the pocket. Instead, Visser's going to wait a while. No contested mark taken for the Dusties, and Inverloch once again exits. So they kick it towards the broadcast wing. That's a brilliant tackle, Rankin! And they're going to call advantage as well. So Hams has the footy, gave it off to Bolters. Now Hams again, kicks it forward. Should be holding the man there. You got to pay that. Absolutely. Debenham can't believe it, but I thought it was a fairly obvious one. So Tom Wyatt now going to kick it about 20 metres forward. The mark wasn't taken by Jason. And then Warragul are going to try find the boundary line and eventually do through Michael Ablett. 21, nearly 22 minutes through this one. 69 plays 14 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. So punched out by Mockett, had no one to contest him. Ogden did much of the same. Debenham has given away another free kick and looks a bit sore there. Does Joe Samalis.
That's the thing about Warragul, they play a lot of their footy on the edge and sometimes they go over it and that can put them in hot water. You hate to see plays like that, just an unnecessary shoulder to the face there, and it's just lucky that Samalis, you know, jumped up after that one because it was pretty ugly play. But either way, Seagulls went inside 50 and the Dusties held up well once again. So you just love to see the Dusties, you know, win possession and just take a risk. It's about that time. You've sort of got to risk it because otherwise you might just lose it anyway. So have a crack, I reckon, as Toussaint shades the defender, gets it to Patterson, and he's bumped from behind by Templeton, but it doesn't matter. He's got the mark at true centre half forward. He's looking for options, but I think he might have a shot here. Looks like he will. So Bailey Patterson played all his footy at Canberra for his first goal on the goal, white and blue. Gives it a ride. It's going to fall short to the top of the goal square. Almost marked there by Thomas. Not the tallest man in the pack, but he made a great contest. The Dusties rove it well. And Short's going to get to this off the bench, and he clamours into Pryor. But he gets straight up. He's a tough knacker, Jarvis Pryor. Takes a lot to get him down. And we'll have a stoppage right in front of us, Bailey.
So now 24 minutes through this contest. Can't be too much longer left in this quarter, although the second quarter did go for a 30 minutes, so rather long one there. Hams comes through the pack, releases a kick. Only going to go to the opponent in Todd Beck, though, for the Warragul+Industrials. So Herbert looking for anyone. And he eventually finds Commodore. Just running a bit of a switch here, and as we've said before, you'd like to see the middle of the ground being used because it's just not working. But here we go. Maybe he's starting to cut a bit more inside. Will Jolly. Haven't called his name a whole lot today. Should be a turnover. So Pryor. Hams. And then Rankin, a low kick, going to dribble across, and then Jolly's going to take it over the boundary line. So Inverloch Kongwak winning this one by 55 points at the moment. And that's centre wing now. The opposite side of the broadcast. Eagles win the contest. Uncontested mark in the middle of the ground, then just smacks one forward. Should be an uncontested mark. No, got there in time. Free kick's going to be paid high. So is this Oscar Tasson? It looks like that.
He's got brother Marcus on the goal line, told him to have a shot straight away.
So this would be for number 4, I believe, for Oscar. Walks in. This to extend the margin to 61 points, but no, just didn't have the distance. And Warragul were clever in getting out. Debenham takes a mark uncontested at half-back. And then gives it off by hand. Little chip kick goes forward. Rankin try to affect it, but they've been caught off guard here. So now Brewster pushes forward, looking for a teammate. Could have been in the back against Asando, then try to just soccer it across the ground. Still able to win the ball at ground level, so snaps it around his body. That's a wonderful spoil, wonderful defence from the Sea Eagles. It gets out, but then Kane Taylor's forced to turn over here. Handball goes to Rankin, then he dishes it off to Scott. Hams across the face of goals, and wowee, that is just beautiful football from Inverloch Kongwak. What a day they've had, Aiden.
It's just almost, we've seen it all day, but it still surprises you when you're watching the play and you see Tom Hams with the footy, and then all of a sudden there's just always that switch option, and they always have space all day long against a team in the Dusties who's no slouches at all. It's just an absolute masterclass in changing angles and backing your skills. It's been incredible from Inverloch Kongwak, who extended lead out to 55 points, as Baz mentioned. In that quarter, they started really fast. And it's three-quarter time here at the Nest. Inverloch Kongwak 10-9-69, playing the Dusties 2-2-14 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. They flex their muscles in that quarter, the ladder leaders, and they look well on their way to their 5th straight win in 2023. We'll take a short break and be back with you for the final term. It's the Fairhaven Homes match of the round, and we're at the Nest.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. You know, if I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make...
So welcome back to the Fairhaven Homes match of the rounds today between the Inverloch Kongwak Football Club and the Warragul+Industrials Football Club, and it's fair to say that Inverloch have been the better side today, up by 55 points in what has turned out to be a beautiful afternoon here on the coast of Victoria. And just want to quickly bring up something that we were talking about, Aidan, just literally moments ago. You're obviously very involved down at Inverloch. You're a big figure at the club, and you were mentioning about the training last year and how they were really big, this footy club, the seniors, how they were going to make a deep run, and then they got up against Warragul in the final and they were just a bit shell-shocked by the end of it. And I just want to make a point, like, how impressive today's performance has been, because you have teams, if I give an AFL comparison, like Sydney and Geelong. Sydney have been talking all off-season how the grand final loss didn't hurt them, and then they went down to Geelong, got battered by 91 points. So this is a really good recovery for Inverloch.
Yeah, it was set up, it was a bit of a revenge game. Obviously the players will tell you that it wasn't that important to them, it's just another game. But for the club and the gold, white and blue faithful, who were really in a lot of pain after that elimination final at Bass last season, it's just so good. It's an amazing day, and it's just really great vibes around the nest today. And I guess a lot of people will say we needed this. and it just feels so much better. It doesn't eradicate the fact that they boot us out of the finals, doesn't get us back into the finals by any stretch, but to beat these guys and show them a bit of payback and show them what we're about is great for all the Inverloch faithful as they run forward again. Kick from Patterson in the way of O'Neill, and the umpire Lansdowne has found a free kick out of that the way of the Dusties. But just another one on the afternoon. Obviously, tremendous day. A lot of the time Inverloch does turn on a day like this for a big contest, but we've got a Mother's Day function. Shout out to all the mums around the West Gippsland football netball competition. They do so much for us all. Special shout out to my mum. She's incredible. Wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for her. And the Inverloch Kongwak Footy Netball Club's got a function on at the moment in the rooms, and it's a great setup, and I'm sure all the mums are loving it. So shout out to mums on the eve of Mother's Day as Joe Samalis runs forward, shares it with Bolters, back to Samalis, and he is claimed. Ran into a brick wall there, and the umpire's called high. That is incredibly stiff, and that's just been the catalyst for, if you're wondering how the Dusties afternoon's gone, well, that's it right there in a nutshell. That could have gone either way. He sort of ducked with it. I could see how he paid the free kick, but he had it a long time. Could have been holding the ball, but instead, Joe Samalis will line up for goal. It's about 45 metres out. Bright sunshine at Inverloch. He runs in, and that's not going to do the job. So, in the end, doesn't hurt the Dusties too much. Just a behind. But just first blood for Inverloch in this quarter.
Sorry, Aiden. Just going back to the Mother's Day thing, want to give a quick shout out to my mum as well, Jay. She, I can't even put into words how much she helps me out, especially on these Saturdays where, well, I live quite a fair way away from Gippsland, so for her to come out with me every Saturday, because I'm only 17 years of age, it means a lot to me, and I can never repay her for the faith she's put in me and my career. So thanks, Mum. Have a good day tomorrow despite you ditching me for Queensland's. Anyways, so here comes Hams. Kicks it up forward. Can any mark be taken? No, it was almost an overhead mark. Oh, they've actually kept the ball in play somehow here. O'Neill dribbles it around. And then off the ground, the Sea Eagles, they're flying at Inverloch. Great goal off the ground there.
It really has been a complete performance, and the luck is all on the side of the gold, white and blue today. And it's just an outstanding finish from Toby Marnie there, I think it was, off the ground. Bit of Erling Haaland about that one if you follow the English Premier League. He's got all the tricks in his bag, does the Inverloch Kongwak skipper. And they've got the first goal of the final quarter as they look to just have a bit of fun and finish off their 5th straight win to start the new season. It's back in the middle. Clearance goes to Will Hams, but it's picked up by Beveridge, who's claimed by Marnie, and he's pushed him in the back. There's cries of he has been doing it all day from the Dusties faithful, who are still out in force here. Great to see. This win won't hurt them too much. Wasn't expected, but obviously Inverloch are a complete side at this stage of the season. As they work it forward, and it's found Gibson. He looks for an option. He's moved it on. It's a short kick inside 50, and you just think that Gibson probably should have backed himself there. Tried to be a bit cute, and he's found the first-year head coach of the Sea Eagles, Tom Hams. And he's almost put himself in a real blunder there. He's ran into the pressure. He's not happy with himself. He's kicked towards his teammate there. Ended up falling out of bounds. But the Dusties will look to bounce back next week against Kiwirup. And just as we were following the scores, Darlaston's currently up on Coralline, which, looking forward, is going to set up a massive game at the Darlaston Recreation Reserve next week between Inverloch, Kongwak and Darlaston. If the Magpies and the Sea Eagles come out winners today. It's going back inside 50, and is that a mark? No, just. But it falls to the front, and the left foot snaps. Found the chest of guess who, the man who has been close to best on ground today, around half-back for Inverloch, Louis Rankin. Just an absolute star. He's known around the competition, but to those at Inverloch Kongwak, he's one of the most beloved the club has seen. Such a good bloke, great player, and he's an assistant coach now. So there's a bit of a dogfight at centre half forward for the footy, and it'll be a ball up, you'd think. No, Bubbles out, still going in there, a lot of bodies, and Hams and Samalas lay the tackle, and we will get that ball up.
So it was probably a bit unlucky that for Inverloch that the umpire was behind the play there, because he actually dug it in, the Dusty's player. Nonetheless, Hams exiting out of 50, gives it off to Scott. Now at the wing is Batako, who took a tough mark and then puts it forward in front of Tom Wyatt, still running for it, trying to smack it across the grounds. Can they create something out of nothing here, the Eagles? To Saint, or to Sant, sorry. Batako for his first goal, no. Was that Batako? I thought
It was.
0 goals, 3 on your debut, that's unlucky.
Oh, I really hope he gets one now, because I know what he'll be copping afterwards if he doesn't from all the boys behind the goals. They've come out in force for him. It's great to see when a young fella debuts and all his mates get around it behind the goals. It's one of the beauties of country footy, as he's kicked his third behind there, and Warragul will bring it back out. They go long, no mark, taken there by Nickel. Can't quite get a clean hand away though. There's a bit of a scrap in there once again. Comes away with Scott. He can't grab it cleanly either. Nickel goes back in and gets it, and this time he gets it cleanly. And it's in the way of Visser, takes an overhead mark. Can they use the top wing here? They've got a number out wide, but he goes further afield. This one's out in the way of Taylor. Closing defence from Pryor was illegal. So here's Taylor right in front of us here, assessing his options. Inverloch just dropped back so well, so he'll have to pick his way through. He goes long instead. This is a 1-on-3. It's punched away, but it's in the way of Debenham. He takes on way too much there. It just epitomises what they've done all day. They've just picked the wrong option when there was other ones around. They've tried to do a bit too much when Inverloch's pressure, and it's just been a bit too much for them. It's just been a hit and miss inside 50 for Warragul today. That's not to say that you should discount them though this season. They're a great club. They keep improving, and I expect them to be featuring in September once again. Sets up a great matchup though next week at Kirirup, who have sort of been blown out of that game against Phillip Island as we speak. Well, here's Tate Short.
You mentioned,
gets away from his defender easily.
Sorry, Aiden, you mentioned something about Warragul going back into September, but they're going to fall to 2 and 3 after this, and Dalston are flying at the moment. So although it seems unlikely, even the Magpies are a chance.
I think that's paid there to Cumming. Yes, it is. No? It's the umpire called here. Either way, Cumming wastes no time, decides not to bother. And he kicks it straight to Russell. You're right there. I didn't actually take that into account. The Dusties are 2 and 2, so this loss will bring them to 2 and 3. They're actually sitting 7th at the moment, so there's probably a bit of optimism there from me, if anything.
Well, it's hard to imagine Tooradin, Inverloch, Phillip Islands, Narnagoon, those sort of teams falling out of the conversation. Maybe Coralline could fall out, but
it's something the league's had for a number of years now, that last spot in finals really being up for grabs.
Yeah.
It's really great to see. As the ball goes inside 50, the wave Mockett can't complete the mark, and it's rushed behind by the Sea Eagles. So we're just hanging for another Warragul major here.
That was their first. I don't think they scored it at all in the third term. So I think that was actually their first score in almost 40 minutes of footy.
So speaking about the Dusties looking ahead, that match against Kirirup, it almost becomes an early season must-win for Warragul next week. They'll hope they can regain the services of a few players, definitely McGarity, going forward.
Well, Kirirup seem to be a sort of team again that can beat up on the lower sides, but the teams that are really quality, like Narnagoon and Phillip Island, they really haven't brought it to them this year. So
Interestingly, I haven't been over the stats today, but Taylor Gibson from Kongwak+vs+, a bag of 10 against them a week ago. So Kui are up a bit of a unpredictable one, and they'll face an unpredictable Dusties as well, as the West Gippsland Football Netball competition runs on in early 2023. On the other side of the tape, it's the Inverloch Kongwak Eagles with Oscar Desant running through the middle, looking at their 5th straight win. He's got his skipper, Marnie. And he goes over the top, and here's the moment. Kicks it over his mate's head. It's John Batacco. And listen to the crowd if you can hear it. It is going off. That's the moment of the day right there. Young John Batacco's first goal in senior footy. He might still get a bit of stick for kicking 1 goal 3, but he's got that 1 goal, and that's 1 more goal than his mates behind the goals today. So,
and the goal being like 5 metres out in front.
Nonetheless, that's a moment he'll remember forever in a big win over the Dusties. Geordie Batacco's first goal in senior footy puts the hometown Seagulls further into the lead. It's 12-11-83 playing 2-3-15 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. As we tick towards 12 minutes off the clock in this final term, it's Rankin, who's just had so much of the footy today in defence. His kick's not the best though, and he almost take a sliding slips catch with one hand there. Falls to the deck, and now the Dusties can kick their first. No, not going to get there. 1-on-1. Can't take the mark at full forward, but the defence from short was illegal. So here's the chance. They went into, suffered a bit of a drought, as we mentioned in that 3rd quarter, Warragul, but Ogden, for his 2nd on the day, from about 15 metres out, makes no mistake. Dusties have got their 3rd. Another instant reply.
Well, that's their first goal since they kicked moments before half-time. So, hasn't been the best of days for this footy club. But Ogden has now got 2 of Warragul+Industrials' 3 goals. 8-3 plays 21 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. As Inverloch Kongwak up by 62 points. 13 minutes into this contest. Or into the 4th quarter, I should say, rather. So Bradley tried to go to ground, back over to Debenham, who goes running, and then gave it off to Herbert, who bursts through the middle of the ground, off by hands to Mockett, bending! No. And won't be able to keep it inbounds either, so it'll be a boundary throw-in deep inside of Warragul+Industrials' forward 50. So let's see if they can get back-to-back goals. They haven't been able to do it all day. And you'd think that Ogden's probably a sneaky chance here, going for number 3 maybe. Mocker out of the ruck. No, instantly claimed by the Seagulls out into the middle of the ground. Bradley, that was a really good mark there. Heavily contested as well. Kicks it forward. It was Desant, who almost took a good grab. And then exiting out is Tate Short. And now at half-back flank, the kick was a little bit ugly though. Herbert gave it off by hands. Beck was waiting for the dribbler to come towards him in the middle of the ground. Now Debenham on the outskirts of the contest. I think he was just waiting for the handball there, but never received it. The stoppage was called first, Aiden.
So something that may give Warragul a bit of confidence, a bit of, as Tom Ham sends a kick inside 50 in the way of Marnie. He's taken the mark on 50. He'll turn and go. And this is into the hands of Liam O'Neill. First year at the Seagulls, the senior side this season, after playing his footy at Leongatha Parrots. He'll line up for goal. As I was saying, the Dusties and Inverloch's first matchup last season here ended up in a bit of a blowout. Inverloch winning that one as O'Neill comes in and extends the lead. Inverloch ended up winning that one by 24 points, and it was similar to this. It sort of blew out a little bit in the first half. And then obviously the Dusties were able to come back and beat them when it mattered. So they have showed resilience in the past, and they're going to need it this season again. It's only early, like we're saying. But I wouldn't count them out. They've got a bit of work to do, as they're down 13-11, 89 to 3-3-21 at the moment, thanks to Liam O'Neill's goal there. But you always count on them to improve, and I'm sure they will as the season goes on.
Some AFL score updates as well. Just entered the fourth quarter between North and Port. Port's winning that one by 48, so no surprise there. And Freo are actually getting it done over Sydney at the SCG at the moment, up by 30 points. 4 minutes left in the fourth term, as here come the Eagles looking to extend this lead further, hurt the Dusties more perhaps. Batako handballs it over, couldn't get it to anyone, and then around his body, that's another for the Sea Eagles. This one coming from Tate Cumming, I believe, and it was. And this scoreboard is looking real ugly. 13-12, 90 to 3-3, 21. Oh, maybe it wasn't a goal. I heard the cheers.
So we've been backing the boys behind the goals here. There's a big cheer, and Cumming himself liked it, but the umpires have had a conversation and called it a behind. So no luck there for Cumming. He's still looking for his second on the afternoon, as the Dusties work it to centre wing, and there'll be a stoppage. Bolter's just helping himself up there. A couple tired bodies on both sides. It's been a pretty quick match and a hotly contested one at times too. So I think all the boys out here today will sleep well tonight. As Rankin's kick goes into the middle, and they've got numbers. Lockie Scott picks it up, goes inside 50 towards Cumming, and he take the grab. No, he's shoved a bit from behind. Good defence with the body there from the Dusties. Patako pushed out towards it, picks it up and goes over the boundary line. The right-hand forward flank for Inverloch Kongwak. We tick towards 18 minutes gone in the final term. They lead it by 69 points, I believe it is. So, batted all day, Bradley in the ruck. This time we'll be against Toussaint. That's not a great throw-in. We'll probably have that one again. No one will argue with that. Gives them a few more seconds rest. I think the best today out of everywhere has really been the sunshine. I haven't seen sunshine like this for a couple of rounds here at the Nest. It's been absolutely terrific. As Toussaint will put the Seagulls back inside 50 with his left boot. Coming out hard is Marnie. Tries the stiff arm. Doesn't work for him. And that time he's not able to get away. He's tackled well there by Ablett. And now the Dusties go in the way of Brewster. His left boot's great. So can I just get a little control here, the Dusties, and slow the game down a bit. Stem the bleeding. Here's Beck. Moves it on with hands. And now they've got it at half forward. Looking for an option there was Jolly. His punch from behind from Pryor was over the shoulder. That'll be a free kick to Ogden, who might have a shot here. We know he's got the distance. Kicked one at the opposite end in the first term from about this distance. On his left boot, he runs in. This time he's just going to set it up straight to Rankin, who punches it away. But roving it well was Gibson, who was claimed immediately by Rankin, who followed up, laid the tackle and forced a stoppage. So you're thrown up right in the centre of 50 for the Dusties. Can they get another late one here? No, Toussaint taps it to Short. Short goes long up the wing towards McCorn. He'll let it go over the back. Tate Cumming taps it to Batako, and Batako's off. Takes a bounce. Chased by two. Goes towards his captain, Marnie. Can he take the mark? No, goes over the back. It's defended well there by Russell, and he's just handballed it straight out of bounds. Or through the behinds, I think. The boys behind the goals are absolutely campaigning for deliberate, but not in the country. Brave kick there to Herbert.
Is there no deliberate rush behind in country footy? I thought that was a rule across all codes.
I'm a bit confused by that too, but I've never seen it paid personally.
If it is a rule, then that is a 110% a free kick. I've never seen something disguised so poorly.
Let's
Anyways,
play on. Pryor hasn't heard the call, now he does. And he smothers it well. And he'll follow up again. He's got Scott for company to help him out. Jives on the footy. He's going to need to get this out probably. No. Umpire says he did enough and I'll ball it up. But that last one there's McGilvray down. No, sorry. Russell down in defensive 50. He's handballing across the goal line under a little bit of pressure. So a bit lucky there. As O'Neill goes to Bolters inside to Hams. He's got space to run and use the left boot to put IK back inside 50. Marty tries to hanger. Doesn't like the call, which is in the back towards Taylor, who's gone back to help out in the final term. So hasn't had great luck since that nice soccer goal, the Inverloch skipper, Inverloch Kongwak skipper. So Dusty's work it to the wing. Now they've got an option, but it's tackled well there by Toussaint. That might be holding the ball, it is. So Herbert couldn't get away from the long arms of Marcus Toussaint. He's got the footy right on the boundary line. And he'll just set it up towards McCawn. Oh, almost falls to the back chest of coming. McCawn gets the footy and puts it straight out of bounds on the full. Couldn't get the snap going. Much to the delight of the home crowd, who has a bit of a laugh. It's been an outstanding afternoon for the ladder leaders. They'll go to 5-0. We're still awaiting a match-up with the reigning premiers, Tooradin. But they've won their games from the opposition they've had in front of them, and so far are probably the best bet of taking that mantle away from the Seagulls. Don't want to put the horse before the cart, though. As the Dusties go inside 50. Can't quite take the mark there. There's Ogden, but he's still fighting for it. Here's Gibson. His kick is all right. It'll roll through the behinds for another point. So the Seagulls looking ominous, as I was saying, in 2023. They've now faced, in 3 of their 5 games, they've faced last year's teams that finished in the finals last year. And they've beaten all 3 of them in Nanagoon, Phillip Island, and now Warragul. And they've got a trip to Darlston next weekend.
So at half-back is Pryor over to Hams. It's a decent looking kick. Should hit coming. Beautiful kick there. Perfectly placed as well. Coming, can't really say much of the same. Kick just went a little bit short into the fist of, I believe it was Ablett. Now coming back out to the centre wing. We'll have a short stoppage here. There's Inverloch currently winning this one. 69 points, 24 minutes into this final term. Can't imagine there's too much time left in this one. So stick around, please stick around after the final siren goes, as we'll have a post-game show where we give our votes. As Batako, handball went nowhere. Hams around the body, coming! Just popped out of nowhere, didn't he? And a nice overhead mark. And he is now primed for what shouldn't be too difficult of a set shot. It looks to be, I'd say maybe 30 to 25 metres out. A little bit of an angle. Coming. Wonderful finish. Inverloch now up by 75. So we'll just have a quick look at our Totally Workwear scoreboard. 14-13, 97 plays, 3-4, 22. As Inverloch Kongwak have put on one of their best performances of the year so far.
And Daz, I'm just watching around the grounds. We're going to have a great finish at the Coralline Recreation Reserve with the Magpies leading that one now just by 11 points. That one's live, so that would be a massive scalp for the Magpies, who have had an awesome start to the 2023 season after losing their home opener.
By 88 points as well to Kui Rupp, so they've bounced back wonderfully.
In the other games, it's Kilcunda Bass still up on Bunyip. They're starting to pull away now, leading by about 19 points as the final siren goes at the Inverloch Recreation Reserve. And the home side have just been absolutely dominant, really. Pulling away in the second with a few quick goals and really adding to their work in the third. They finished 14-13, 97, playing the Dusties 3-4-22. So it's a 75-point win to the home side on a beautiful afternoon in Inverloch. It's Mother's Day Eve. Shout out to all the mums around the West Gippsland area. I hope all your families, sons, daughters, are spoiling you tomorrow. And the Sea Eagles, well, they're the ones to beat so far in 2023. Their 5th straight win. And it was just a dominant display, really a complete display, Baz.
Yeah, absolutely. They it was a little bit shaky throughout that first quarter and even in bits of the second quarter, but as soon as they the last 10 minutes or so in that second quarter, they just played a completely better brand of footy in comparison to the Dusties. Just the Dusties never really wanted to take any risk all day. Really liked to play it safe throughout the wings, similar to what Inverloch were doing, but Inverloch just completed at such a higher standard. So,
I think we were talking about it during the broadcast, but I was going to say, obviously, conditions like this really suit Inverloch. This is their most favoured conditions. They can move the ball. There's no worry about skill or wind or rain interrupting their movement. But if anyone out there wants to see a display in changing angles, switching the ball and moving the footy with pace and precision, it's just watch the Sea Eagles on a day like this. And there's been not many sides I've seen do it better. There's definitely been no one do it better so far this season. It was outstanding. They played the right way, and unfortunately, Warragul couldn't match it today. But it's revenge really for Inverloch Kongwak, and they had contributions across the board. But where are your votes going today?
So, for one vote, and we'll get your one vote after as well, Aiden. My one vote is actually going to Jordan Patako. I thought for first game in senior footy, he played a wonderful game today. It was a bit of a toss-up between him and Will Hams, but Patako was just so classy all day, and especially in that second half, I started noticing around the ground a lot more, and then it even kicked that goal there, which was a nice little touch as well. So Jordan Patako, first game, gets a vote.
Yeah, I'd love to give him one too. Being such a great story, he's a great fella. He's played a great game. It's really an awesome first game to have. But unfortunately, I'll just give him a mention. I won't give him the vote. I think as well, Will Hams had another outstanding performance. But my one vote will go to his brother Tom. I think Tom Hams, the new head coach, he'll be so happy with the performance, and especially against a team that caused him so much pain last season. And he was just outstanding across half-back, and just that ability to get the footy and know exactly where to go with it and pull that trigger straight away. He really patrols them across the defensive 50, and he set them up on numerous occasions to start the match.
Well, there you go. Tom Hams was actually my two votes. You described it perfectly. Just the general down there at half-back, and Warragul struggled so much to get it inside 50 all day, and Tom Hams was one of the main reasons why his ball use off half-back, how efficient he is and how clever he is through contested situations and even uncontested situations as well. He's a really entertaining player to watch, and I really loved his game today. So he got my two votes. Who's your two, Aiden?
So my two will go to a new fella on the team this season, Tate Short. I think in that first half he was close to the best player on the ground. He works hard in defence, he works hard forward, he's smart. But his ability to play undersized often, going against the big fellas like Mockett and Staples down there when Warragul went direct and high, winning one-on-ones, winning body contests against those big fellas, and then using his skills and his runs. Just incredible to see. So he's a massive tick for the Inverloch Kongwak recruiting department. He's been outstanding.
Wonderful. 3 votes. Oh, I suspect we probably have given it to the same person. I've given it to Lewis Rankin. Everything we said about Tom Hams, Lewis Rankin did it even better. The thing that mainly probably separated those two guys today was Rankin's intercepting ability. He's so well known for that. And today it was just on clear display the entire contest. Every time they tried going inside 50, it was Rankin every single time. He can take it to ground level as well, and he can get it off effectively, and it's just such an entertaining player to watch in defence. So hats off to Lewis Rankin.
Yeah, no surprises. I've got Lou Boy as well, Louis Rankin. He's just a complete player. And he's just he's an inspiration to any of those guys who are wanting to play defence, wanting to be that modern type defender halfback who can run off but intercept the ball as well. He's not the biggest guy, he's not the tallest guy, but he's just determined. He attacks the footy every single contest at 100%. He's smart. And he's an amazing pick to be an assistant coach this season because, as I said, he's beloved by all his teammates in the whole club. And you can just see he leads by example. It's incredible how many times he sets them up. He's always there to save the day, and he can do it on the ground and in the air, like you said. So I think he's the one that broke the game open when we were calling for either side to really pull away and get their run going. And he got that going for Inverloch and set up the massive win. Well, and he deserves the 3 votes.
Well, the guy, if you want to chuck an AFL comparison on him, as a guy that obviously watches a lot of Bombers footy as a fan, I would really compare him to Jordan Ridley. Just always, like you said, not the tallest guy on the team, but is able just to read the footy so well and beat his opponents in one-on-ones and come through with that intercepting ability. He was a really fun player to watch today, much like Jordan Ridley as well. But that is going to do us all for today. It was a great clash between the Inverloch Kongwak Football Clubs and the Warragul Industrial Football Club. I've been your commentator, Bailey Allen, joined by my co-commentator, Aidan Box. We'll be back next week. Have a good rest of your afternoon, and happy Mother's Day for tomorrow.